All right, I am Jake Davis. I work with Kiosk Information Systems, the largest manufacturer of self-service kiosks in North America. Kiosk is also a partner to Dell. We're an OEM partner, so strategizing between Dell, Kiosk, and other partners in the healthcare industry, we're able to actually modernize the self-service experience, the patient experience with self-service kiosks. Today, we're going to go over a couple different solutions, and then we're also going to bring Mike DeLibero from Agilent Solutions in to review some of the previous case studies that we've deployed and found successes with. So with that, Mike, if you don't mind. All right, when we're talking about self-service in this industry, there's a couple of key objectives that we're going after. Some of the modern challenges. Can anybody maybe give me just a simple challenge that you've seen in healthcare? The food's terrible. No? Nothing? Okay, well, what we see from the self-service industry are three things, right? Labor shortages, everybody's addressing it, everybody's worried about it. How do we fix that issue, right? Utilizing a self-service kiosk will absolutely help you there. One way to do that is through administration efficiency, offering those types of solutions that will modernize the technology in front of the customer, in front of the patient, but also allow your administration staff to kind of alleviate some of those check-in processes that may or may not be, in person. Second is information accuracy. So being able to process information appropriately direct from the customer, not so much having to process that information via, word of mouth, and maybe some of that information becomes incorrect. Maybe this is a previous patient that's already been logged into the system, but you registered them as a new patient. So being able to kind of handle that is a key one for us as well. And then identity insurance fraud. I don't know how many of you know this, but identity management and fraud behind the 2021 season actually brought in a $300 billion issue, right? Healthcare was about 8% of that. So being able to address and correctly pull in, accurate information, preventing that potential fraud or hazardous system definitely will help you there. Go ahead, Mike. A couple opportunities for growth. One is just improved profitability, right? If you're able to be a little more streamlined in your systems with efficiency for healthcare administrators, providers, or just individual hospital practitioners, you'd be able to actually move a little bit quicker, and that'll bring on your profitability across the board. Convenience for patients. This is a huge one. If you're not doing it on your mobile phone, a kiosk is absolutely essential for those customers who essentially are looking for an EMR, simple integration, but be able to tap my barcode, ID, do an ID verification, or even something like facial recognition. I know palm vein scanning is out there in the healthcare industry, so convenience is a huge one. And then overall improved staff morale. Thinking about where we work, what we're doing in the industry, you want to be happy, you want your staff to be happy, especially in the healthcare industry. So that's a huge one for us. Some of the solutions that we're going to talk about today, we're going to keep it pretty quick, but the big one that we're going to focus on is patient check-in, being able to utilize a kiosk for that simplified process to just, go out, check in for your appointments, maybe register as a new patient. Some others that we'll touch on are hospital wayfinding, essentially guiding that customer through the platform wherever they need to go within the healthcare facility. And then lastly is patient services, which can really be seen as a couple different things. You can use that as an administration solution. You could use that as an account management solution. We've even had insurance companies come to us for that. So, Mike, let's dig in on patient check-in real quick. A couple different form factors. The big piece to patient check-in is making sure that we're working with your appropriate EMR, right? I'm sure everybody out there has different experience with different electronic health record management systems. So, for our team to be able to kind of be agnostic when it comes to that, whether it's with Epic, folks over here at Oracle, previously Cerner, maybe there's some others out there like Meditech, Allscripts, what have you, being able to kind of work with that and, help them facilitate a self-service kiosk while working with that existing system is absolutely essential. Beyond that, just being able to move quickly through the check-in process and also register new patients. That's a big one for time-consuming projects with those customers who, essentially are new. Maybe they need to register. Maybe they need a photo captured of their patient profile. All of that can be completed at the kiosk. And then the last piece is obviously being able to, do real-time data, demographics and verification around that patient individually. if the patient is essentially inputting that information, directly, then they would be able to process that just as quickly as well. And then the accuracy is there. From a wayfinding perspective, this one's a little more simplified. Essentially, we're giving a virtual map of the solution of the healthcare facility for those customers, right? So being able to guide a customer who says, look, I have an eye appointment. I'm not sure where to go. How can I facilitate this quickly? But I don't want to tie up staff for the healthcare, facility. You'd be able to implement a wayfinding kiosk very quickly. So, just being able to walk through digital touchscreens, walking the end patient with their mapping and being able to kind of guide them through, very similar to what you see on the mobile app here, right? So for the HIMSS app, you were able to see, the 3 different halls. You'd be able to do the exact same thing through a kiosk at the on the application. Lastly is healthcare and virtual support, and essentially this can be kind of an open-ended platform where, one, you would have some of your administration tasks, right? Being able to look at if I'm a patient and maybe I need to update some of my information within my profile, I'd be able to achieve that in an administrative kiosk. Another one, and this is a huge one, is looking at telehealth or virtual health, right? Being able to connect one-to-one conversations through a self-service kiosk. Obviously, if you're talking about HIPAA compliance, you want to make sure that that's behind a closed door. It's in a private booth for the self-service kiosk. But essentially, being able to talk about account records, maybe you have a billing question for your insurance company, something to that degree. So through a self-service kiosk, you'd be able to have that one-to-one video call or video conferencing application running smoothly. With software, we touched on it a little bit, but we do partner with quite a few different offerings out there. I know we got a couple guys from LifeMed here. We were at the Epic booth earlier. In terms of a kiosk application running the preferred software, essentially what we're talking about is a digital front door, right? So being able to expose that API integration to the electronic medical record system, and also utilizing a very seamless and simple to use application for the patient, right? If somebody shows up and they have to fill out a ton of information on that kiosk, they may, be unlikely to use it again. Or if they're a registered patient already, you want that to be very efficient and streamlined for that patient checking in. So from our side, we work with different partners to do that. Some of those, Epic has their Epic Welcome application. Behind that, there's, companies like Certify Health, LifeMed ID, who can also provide a front-end kiosk app connecting to that back-end EMR. Compunetics is an interesting one. They would provide that video conferencing center application. And then, unique applications like Imprivata, who, specifically focus, if you're not familiar with palm vein scanning technology, right? So different types of solutions. Facial recognition is now becoming pretty popular in this industry. So being able to kind of work with that, as well as any, kiosk authored software or customer authored software, which is pretty simple as well. The last one that I have, and then I'll turn it over to Mike, is just around ADA compliance, right? ADA compliance in this industry is very, very focused. So anytime you have a self-service opportunity out in the field, you want to make sure that the American Disabilities Act, specifically looking at like Section 508C, are able to, and I keep trying to open this, are able to, meet the self-service requirements. So anytime that you're deploying that, we want to make sure that you're focused around the ADA solution. So with Kiosk, our expertise, and we have some partners in the crowd with folks from Vispero who are able to help us make sure that our designs and the hardware and software for that solution are going to stick within ADA compliance. Rather than your team having to kind of man that yourselves, we'd be able to help you with any questions or, verifying that kiosk would actually be seen as 508 compliant. So with that, Mike, I might turn it over to you to kind of go over, did we freeze it? There we go. All right, yeah, go ahead. Good job. Yep.
How about it for Jake? So everybody, my name is Mike DeLibra. I'm the Executive Director of Healthcare Sales for Agilent. And in that screenshot you saw before, we're kind of like the general contractor. We pull all of the solutions on the hardware and software side together so we can be like a single point of contact single throat to choke, if you want to think of it that way. I'm here to talk about a lengthy project that we've been doing in New York City. This started before COVID, so we got kind of tripped up with COVID for a few years. We started this back in 2016, believe it or not, with pilots and waiting for budgets to get approved. It's the largest municipal hospital system in the country, servicing over 1 million patients a year. Prior to the kiosk solution, basically, we're on clipboards and pens. People would walk up, and this is primarily goal was to do ambulatory care. So this is return visits. So people are already tense about a return visit. Their experience, they're going in, and now they've got to wait on a long line. So you've got backlogs in the hospital clinical areas. So that this kind of just smooths out and operationalizes that check-in process. So Jake. So again, the goal is reduce patient wait times, streamline the process of checking in, and ultimately the goal is always to improve patient satisfaction. So we partnered up with Epic and Kiosk to put in, I think it's the largest Epic deployment for Epic Welcome to date. Right now we're about 750 units, which should be over 1,000 units by the end of the year. And this is just some of the initial stats. We're kind of new in the process, so we haven't fully gotten all of the data in, but we're seeing, the reception area, those people can be repurposed for different functions. Reduction in wait time down about 60%. And overall, we're up over our target for utilization. And 99% was a big one. And of course, social distancing with COVID, contactless check-in. We added the Imprivata solution towards the end of this deployment. So as people come back for the second visit, all they have to do is a contactless check-in with a palm vein scanner.
And then just to wrap it up, from the self-service perspective, kiosk we're seeing as kind of a one throat to choke, right, or an all-encompassing solution. So it's not just hardware design. It's not just hardware manufacturing, right? We can help out with software. We can help out with ADA compliance. We understand remote monitoring, managed services, being able to deploy advanced part replacements, field service technicians. So really kind of look at us as, the one group to go to when deploying self-service kiosks. And most of our customers that have done that, honestly, see the benefit. So with that, I think we're done. So thank you for your time.